covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
Today on Action News Now at noon, we're tracking several wildfires. There is still an evacuation warning in place for the Granite Fire in Butte County. People in Butte Concow Zone 501A should be ready to leave. Overnight updated mapping brought the Granite Fire to 12 acres. It is still 0% contained. You can see on this Alert California time lapse the flames overnight. The fire started near Concow and Lynch Road east of Sterling City. CAL FIRE has several dozers cutting fire line today. The U.S. Forest Service says the Cedar Fire in Trinity County is still moving at a rapid rate of speed. 2 evacuation orders are in place for this one, post mountain zones 377 and 378. They're shaded in red. This fire's burned more than 100 acres with no containment. The Forest Service says it's spotting about a half a mile ahead. Again, time lapse from Alert California shows overnight activity. This one started near Post Mountain at around 2:45 yesterday afternoon. And the stage line fire near Palermo destroyed one structure. CAL FIRE says it was contained at about 3 acres. The cause is still under investigation. We also have new numbers on the Swift complex in the Shasta Trinity National Forest. It's burned 539 acres and is as much as 8% contained. This one started north of Mule Creek. It's comprised of multiple lightning-caused fires. A live look at a little bit of smoke from the Cedar Fire. That is looking a lot better than what we saw yesterday or even just earlier this morning. Encouraging news coming from Alert California's Picket Peak camera in Trinity County. Court Clopping now is tracking fire weather and clearer skies today than what we saw yesterday.
Haley, we have the threat of thunderstorms lingering across our region today. It was very active overnight, even into early on this morning, and that threat of activity is going to be persisting heading through this afternoon and into the evening, mainly in our higher elevations, and the best chance is going to be along the Sierra and Cascade Crest to the east and just south of the Oregon border this afternoon, and this is leaving us with elevated fire danger persisting as we head through your Wednesday evening, but that will diminish as the chance for active weather starts to fizzle out heading into your mid to late week forecast. Fire danger for today, temperatures mid-90s to low triple digits for this afternoon, winds gusting as strong as 20 miles an hour out of the southeast, and humidity dipping to as low as 22%. That will leave us with fire danger in the moderate to high range for your Wednesday afternoon due to that threat of thunderstorms. Now, the highest chance for thunderstorm activity is going to be, again, closest to the Oregon and Nevada borders. That's where fire danger stays most elevated, and it's also why we have a red flag warning continuing to stay in effect through 9 p.m. this evening for Modoc and Siskiyou County zones. Coming up in just a few minutes, I'll be tracking how much longer this chance for active weather is going to be sticking around and some welcome changes on the horizon as we head through your extended forecast.
Firefighters put out a shed fire in West Chico. CAL FIRE says this one broke out yesterday afternoon near Miller Avenue and Pomona Avenue. It took just about 10 minutes, though, to stop the flames. We now have a look at the man Redding police arrested for a shooting that left 2 people dead. This is Jesse Penta. He faces 2 counts of murder. Police say Penta called them from Abernathy Lane, a home there, at around 1:15 yesterday afternoon, telling them that he'd shot 2 people outside his home. Both of them died. Columbia Elementary School went into lockdown, and the Redding police chief told Action News Now that officers had been called to the home several times in recent weeks on domestic-related incidents. The names of the victims will not be released, though, until their families are notified. Today, a suspect charged in a mass shooting at a house party in Chico continued his arraignment. Savon Fairbanks was 16 at the time. Now he's 19 and being tried as an adult. The mass shooting happened at a home on 5th Street back in September 2022. Police say Fairbanks fired through a front window with a handgun after not being let back into the party. Fairbanks faces life in prison if convicted. Russian President Vladimir Putin says he's now willing to meet Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Moscow. That's a big development. Putin made the offer while speaking in Beijing today, saying President Trump personally asked him to meet with Zelensky in hopes of ending the war. Putin insisted he's never ruled out the idea, but questioned whether it would achieve anything. Ukrainian officials dismissed a meeting in Moscow, though, calling it an unserious proposal. Meanwhile, Trump says he'll speak with Zelensky in the coming days about a potential meeting. Accusers of the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell gathered on Capitol Hill this morning to share their stories publicly. Natalie Brand shows us the push from some lawmakers now for the release of all files related to this case.
We're in a sorority that none of us asked to join.
Accusers of the late Jeffrey Epstein, along with their families and advocates, are fighting for transparency.
He was an international human trafficker.
The women say they want the public to know what they endured.
Protect the vulnerable, not the powerful. Protect children and survivors.
The news conference comes as Republican Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Democratic Representative Ro Khanna of California are leading a bipartisan effort to try and force a vote requiring the Justice Department to turn over all files related to the case.
There is something that is rotten in Washington. Less than 1% of these files have been released.
The lawmakers are pressuring the Trump administration to disclose more information about the criminal probes and recently subpoenaed the Justice Department for Epstein records. Analysis by CBS News found much of the release had already been made public, but did include unseen surveillance video outside Epstein's jail cell on the night he died by suicide, as well as the disgraced financier's flight logs documenting travel with young women.
It's so hard to begin to heal knowing that there are people out there who know more about my abuse than I do.
House Speaker Mike Johnson was among the lawmakers who met privately with victims on Tuesday, calling them courageous.
There were tears in the room. There was outrage. It was both, I would describe it as heartbreaking and infuriating that justice has been delayed so long.
It is a cover-up of epic proportions.
Other lawmakers say the House Speaker and colleagues are not doing enough to bring transparency and accountability. President Trump welcomed Polish President Karol Nawrocki back to the White House today after backing the conservative nationalist in Polish elections. Their meeting focused on Russia's war in Ukraine and energy security.
It's an honor to have you. We'll be discussing trade and various other things, the things that you discuss. We'll have a few questions from you.
Trump extended the invitation days after Nawrocki was sworn in early August and then intervened to ensure that he joined a telephone call about Ukraine with European leaders instead of his centrist rival. Today, the Langdon Engineering Center on Chico State campus is back open. We told you last week that the building was closed due to water damage from heavy rain. That happened just 3 days into the fall semester. A traffic alert for you in Reading. Starting tonight, Churn Creek Road from Presidio Street to Merchant Street will be under traffic control. Work is scheduled between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. Crews will install a telecommunication conduit and repair the asphalt. That work should wrap up by Friday, September 19th. Also in Reading, Buenaventura Boulevard near Sunflower Drive will be under traffic control. Work for core samples is scheduled between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. through Wednesday, September 10th. Our Fire Watch coverage continues as fire crews mop up several lightning-sparked fires from yesterday's storms. We'll be right back.